Welcome to the BPRC podcast, Black People's Republic of China, giving you my opinions of living abroad. I am your host, Gary, better known as G, here to discuss my experiences of being black, expressing positivity and love. Welcome to the show.
Smoking on the block, the summertime shine, I ain't had no sunblock.
It's always good to feel yourself and feel a good vibe coming into any conversation. Today we are going to be discussing today's topic, or today's title is Don't Rush to Judge the Good Ones. And what we're going to discuss today is the state of Guangzhou, but I want to discuss it in a different way. Most of the narrative around Guangzhou is negative, and all the racism and things that it's going through. But I want to discuss some positive sides of Guangzhou because, while we do need to bring light to all that negativity, we also need to bring light to positive vibes. And, the BPRC is all about good vibes and good energy. So we just want to discuss race relations, artistic values, how to change judgmental ways, just the good side, jobs, just the good side of Guangzhou, things that's happening there or could be happening there, and just kind of change the rhetoric a little bit around what's happening. But before we get into any conversation, any opinion that I have, we got to give thanks the BPRC way. So let's give thanks. Give yourself a moment. Thank you, Jesus. So much in my heart I want to say, thank you, Lord. I want to thank you, Lord. I need you. I need you. I need you. I need you. You know how we do. Giving thanks to Jesus is always the best thing to do for me or whoever your spiritual leader is. Give thanks because, at the very least, they give you spiritual strength. Something to believe in, something to hope towards. But let's get right into it. The need, right? So I was discussing Guangzhou and what the needs are there. So I just think, and not necessarily to just Guangzhou, but there is a need in the world for awareness and positive reflections. People need to be more positive and reflect more positively to themselves and make themselves more aware of what's actually going on. We as a human race have to develop a better sense of humanity. Again, these are all just my opinions, but that's my feeling that humans we just don't care about each other as beings. We care about each other as value commodities, but not as beings. There's also a need for an artistic expression in China, in Guangzhou, in the world. More artistic expression. America is known for its entertainment, but around the world, there's still some gaps and still some holes in creativity and artistic ability. We need to understand that jobs and opportunities have been provided for Africans in Guangzhou. Maybe not now at this particular moment, but I want to look at the city as a whole, as a totality of where it has come from and where it has been over the last few years. Right now, yes, it's not good, and at the end of the day, there's nothing really positive going on for us there, or any black person going on there. Maybe not anyone, not just blacks, but anyone going on there. And then you have to that's the need, right? But from a need, you have to identify, once you identify the need, then you have to identify the problem. And for me, the problem is, how do we find that place of humanity? How do we get there? And where do we get that awareness from? What do we physically need to do with our minds and our bodies and our thinking to get to those two places? And how do we stop the mind from falling into the judgment trap? Because let's be honest, I'm guilty of this too. At some point, some shape, everyone in this world is going to judge another person. It's not right. It's not what we're supposed to be doing, but everyone's going to judge someone or something, right? Selfishness. It comes down to selfishness and the fear of someone doing better or having more than you. How to display black art through a Chinese eye. So these are some of the problems that we want to try to get to on this show. And then out of the problems, what comes out of that is the solution come in. Okay, let's talk about the solutions of some of the problems. The solution may be communicating outside of your box more, right? Take the time to experience something culturally different. Be a leader in your community, understanding history, because the fact is that Blacks have a piece of history in everything, as do Asians, right? We all have a piece of history. Without everyone, there is no history, right? Everyone started from somewhere. Someone had a piece in implementing its culture, some way, shape, or form, right? And again, so the solution for fear would be fear is just an illusion. It's set up to keep each other from blossoming, and we need more Black art exhibits in China, because the only Black art exhibits I've seen are the racist ones where, you see these pictures of monkeys and animals and then they say, oh, this is an African, you know what I mean? Or the evolution of man. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about real Black creative artistic ability, but that's, again, I go into the segment of my opinion, and before I continue, let's bring in somebody else, and let's bring in William. William lives in Guangzhou right now, so let's see what his opinion is. Educated brother, he's an artist. Let's see if he picks up for us. Let's see if William's can help us out here. If not, but I hope you guys are just understanding where I'm coming from with those needs, problems, and solutions. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. William.
Hello.
William.
Okay.
How's it going, sir? Okay, good. Welcome to the BPRC, Black People's Republic of China. Welcome. Thank you, sir, for answering our call.
Oh, pleasure to be here.
Okay, so William, we was just discussing, I was discussing Guangzhou, and I was telling the listeners how there's a lot of negative talk surrounding Guangzhou right now, and I wanted to have some positive energy thrown their way. So I wanted to talk about the need for cultural awareness, positive reflections. How as a humanity do we develop a better sense of humanity? Talk about the artistic expressions there in that city. Just kind of you can just kind of give your opinion on that, and then I'll kind of let's just start talking.
Okay. Let me see.
Can you just Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah. What do you think about awareness?
I mean, it's a profound love for art and culture here, whether it be the language, the food, the traditional art, and also there's appreciation for a lot of outside cultural influences, be it American, which is probably America's number one export.
Right.
Is our culture.
Right. We are an export nation of culture.
Yeah.
And that's funny because it's not all Americans' culture is a combined culture of everything from around the world. That's funny.
Yeah, totally. It's a little bit of everything, even our language. It's pieces of words that we use integrated with Yiddish or French. So it's all types of different influences in American culture. And it's just funny that those same influences in our culture, we spread out, we give back out to the rest of the world, our movies and what have you.
Right. So William, let me ask you this now. In your opinion, what can we do as a race of people to fix the problem of our lack of awareness when it comes to treating human beings in humanity? How do we fix this problem of the,
It's funny because I'm thinking about what happened in America first with the whole thing with I guess with Trump's group
yeah,
and how he enabled or I guess help manifest this anxiety and culture of fear.
right.
So it's just funny, I'm here in China, Guangzhou, and, I'm looking at the news and, I'm always trying to post things that shed light on, I'm like the Shine King.
Right. Okay.
But,
Okay. So
I'm
you Guangzhou's black activist.
I'm all, yeah, social media warrior.
Right. I got it. I get it.
I'm posting about the injustice or, discrimination that's happening to Asians, not just Chinese Americans, but Asians overall. Asians get blanketed with the statement that they're Chinese, even, they could be Vietnamese or Thai or what have you. Then to have that flip on its ear and happen over here with the whole second wave of the outbreak in Guangzhou. I can go into more detail.
Yes, go.
About
go into details. It's okay.
Well, so there's a social media platform here in China called Weibo, and it is a more open platform than the forms they use like QQ.
It's our Twitter. It's their version of Twitter.
Yeah, I would say it's like that because anybody. I mean, unless you make limit your settings to who can comment or what have you.
Right.
But yeah, it can be open to everybody. No, it was interesting. Like when I started posting about what happened here, and all the negative or racist feedback I was getting from my posts. I don't know. I wouldn't say I was surprised, but I guess I was shocked at how much of it and how much of it is from the young people, really. Because, old people are not using this platform.
Right. Right. So that's a very interesting point you just made right there. So I don't want to cut you off, but let me stop you there because I think it's important for people to understand that this communication that's happening, this whole judgmental thought process is coming from our younger generation. Now, it's important to understand that in China, it's the young people that are changing China also positively because they have Western experience. They're going to Western schools. There are more of them speaking English now. So it's crazy to see that this narrative is coming from that side versus the older side, because you would expect it to come from the older side,
Yeah, it's kind of weird because when I think about the cultural shift, the Republic is only 70 years old. They just celebrated the nation's anniversary, compared to America, where it's 400, some odd years old.
So,
and a lot of the issues. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to see. I just kind of wanted to see how you thought of how do we change it. I want to try to stick to a positive conversation of, and not that we're being negative, but how do we change it? What do you do? You're there right now. What can you do to change the minds of the people there, of the government and the people who are there in the middle of what's happening?
Well, the thing is, I was trying to allude to it, but just contextualize it a little bit as far as where they're coming from and where they are now, as far as historically. I think there are so many subcultures here, and because it's weird because I keep hearing these news reports like there's no religion in China, which is a lie.
A very big
I mean,
lie.
they have Gothic cathedrals in Guangzhou, Macau, Shanghai,
Right.
Hong Kong,
Right.
and
Temples,
so
mosque, everything.
yeah, I mean, nobody really thinks about too much of the Muslim influence here. Also, you got Buddhist, Muslim, Catholic,
Right.
Seven-Day Adventist. And then, like, some of the younger people that I can talk about here in Guangzhou that I connected with, they're heavily into, like, tattoo culture, like West Coast, like, I would say, like, the Hispanic, like, tattoos and stuff like that with the lettering.
So
And
what do you,
it's an artist. Okay.
so that's good because you're an artist. So I'm noticing that and this is what I wanted from you. You're seeing it through an artist's eye. Like what? So let's touch on that. Is there some like how can you use that artistic influence to bring humanity awareness to the city? And I want to talk specifically about the city because you are in the city, so you know more than I know about the city. You know what I mean? Like, how can you use that art and that blackness to change the perception of what they feel about us that the government has told them to feel about us? How do we change it as a people?
Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, so many subgroups here of cultures where it's like, like I said, the government, from what I read in the West, is that they banned like rap music or hip hop, and no, they haven't. They have a TV show,
right? It's the number one TV show. Okay? By the way,
In fact, he actually is Chinese American. God, I'm trying to remember. MC. I forget his name.
Yeah. I don't know his name either, but he's very popular. Yeah, he's very popular.
Oh, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know that show that you're talking about. It's a very popular show.
Because I know he does the American one too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's not off the top of my head right now.
But like I guess the point with some of the things that you hear in Western media, they're not necessarily true.
That is true. So this is why I wanted to talk to you. Yes. Tell us what's happening in your city. Like, okay, so I have a question for you. Okay, so Guangzhou is known as, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure I kind of help us get on track. What is the material like? What's the material like? Because I know Guangzhou is known as a material city. Like, talk about that. Like, how do you see now that so before a lot of Africans live in Guangzhou because they have an opportunity, right? Guangzhou gave them an opportunity to open up businesses in the trade market and the fashion market or the material industry. But now that they're all being kicked out, how is that being affected?
Well, from what I've seen recently, a lot of the import-export businesses and some of the supply businesses that do like hair weaves and beauty products and stuff, they're still shut down in the Xiaobei area.
Okay.
And there's a clothing market across from where I stay. Most of the time I would see not a huge amount, but like handfuls of people from the African diaspora there, like shopping for goods to, import to their own countries. So like right now, I can't really say like how it's going to be after everything opens up again. Because I know when I first came here in 2010, it was like booming, the population. Okay, I mean, you go down there in the Chauvet area, you have African food restaurants, Middle Eastern restaurants. You had a lot of people doing trade and business. And I guess like when I went back to the States 2014, then I came back in 2017. I think when I left between 2014 and 2016, a lot of those cats, they already moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So then they did a reconstruction of the Chauvet area. And, where they, like a beautification type thing.
Right.
And so with that, a lot of those businesses, when I went back to those same buildings, a lot of those businesses are gone. They're gone. There was one lady who was doing hair. She's a young lady, and she, I would say, was the next wave after the wave that came when I arrived. So she hasn't been here as long. And so she had to relocate from her spot in Chauvet to closer to, I think it's like North or South Railway Station. So a lot of those African businesses or like clients moved further. I'm trying to get my geography here of the job area.
Yeah, well, I think what the point that you are mentioning right now is, and it's important for us to point out, is that there are positive purposes for being in Guangzhou for us, as far as Africans and Black Americans, because like you said, the city was booming, and this was only what you said 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and to the point of where we are now. I think that so this whole little fear mantra and this judgmental society that we're going through right now with Asians and Blacks is ridiculous, because it wasn't always like that. A lot of people say, Asians have always been racist. Yeah, but whites have always been racist too. And you know what I mean? And Blacks and Spanish, everyone's always been racist.
That's true.
You know what I mean? But I think it's important. I really just want to stick to the point of, it's important to understand that that city did provide a large amount of our people, in that country has provided a large amount of our people opportunity to change their lives. So that's basically what I wanted to get to. But I think that before we continue the conversation, I'd like to, hear what we do on the BPRC is we play a couple games. So we don't always just talk. We have to play a couple mind fitness games. Right. So I'm not sure if you know, but we're going to go into Blackout. Okay. So if you play a couple games with us, that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So the first game is Blackout. And you know what? I'm feeling like, I'm not going to do it. I was going to play my theme music today, but I'm not going to do the theme music today. We're just going to go, Blackout is a game where I tell you an industry. Okay. I name an industry, and then you get 30 seconds to name as many Black people in that industry as you can.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I want to say the record is 11 or so, 11, 12, 13, something like that. All right. So I'm going to help you out. Because I like you, William. So I'm going to give you something you can do. Okay. All right. You're artist. Let's go artist. Okay.
Okay.
But let's just say any kind of artist name that you can think of, Black artist that you can think of, and it can be in any industry. So that's how I'm going to help you. I'm going to let you go across industry lines. You can name any artist, as long as they're a creative soul. They have to have created. Okay. They have to create something. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. You ready?
All right. I'm good.
All right. Ready? Go.
I'm gonna start with contemporary. Kehinde Wale, Micheline Thomas, Derek Adams. Let me see. I'm in the mind spasm. Let me see. Missy Elliott, uh, John Coltrane, John Lee Hooker. Uh,
Okay, your 30 second is the 30 second is up. But I like where you were going with that in the beginning. I think, on this, and I've played this game a few times now with a few different guests, but if you just let your mind free and just start spitting out names instead of trying to think of the right names, it'll just flow. Because you was flowing. Like, I was scared because I always wanted to ask a guest to do black artists, but I don't think enough of my guests know enough black artists to just spit out a lot of names, So that was good. That was good. I'm proud.
Yeah.
I appreciate that one. So let's go into the next game. So these are all mind fitness. The next one is Alphabet Soup. It's a game called Alphabet Soup. Okay. So in Alphabet Soup, I'm going to give you a letter, and you have to name as many words as you can that begin with that letter in 30 seconds. Okay? But you cannot name names. Names are not allowed. Only words.
Okay.
All right. So when I say go, you go. I'm gonna help you out, William, because you're my man. I know it's 2 a.m. in China, so I'm gonna help you out. Let's go with the letter. Let's see what's a good letter. Okay, here we go. Let's go with the letter L.
L. Okay.
All right, you ready?
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Love. Laboratory. Leviathan. Lizard. Lamb. Lever. Lift. Light. Loser.
That was good. You see, it's not, look, when you put a time on, I bet you know a million words that begin with L, but when you put a time on it under pressure, it's not that easy. So William, man, I want to thank you, man, for being a part of the show and just giving your opinion on and perspective on what's happening there as you live there and have lived there for many years now. But before I let you go, I would like to give you the opportunity to say what you want to say. Leave the listeners with a guest moment.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to talk more about, the positive impact of cultures influencing the society, and especially the young people. The negative stuff is already out there. People know about that. But, there's a love for hip hop here. There's a love for American counterculture, whether it's tattoo art, fashion, Chicano fashion or hip hop fashion, graffiti. They're making it their own, and they're creating beautiful stuff and expressing themselves. It's just a lot of other things that I feel like Western media doesn't show about any country other than, their own countries. Mm-hmm. Promoting that they're the best and what have you. But there's a lot of good stuff going on here. I met a lot of wonderful, kind people, despite, there have been some not so. Overall, I feel more comfortable here than I would be in America as a person of color, a Black person. Hopefully this whole virus thing, like how it's happening in America, I hope the whole fear mongering and being suspicious of each other goes away soon, and, things will go back to normal. I mean, I feel like, the Little Africa area, even though it's migrated a little north from the Shabelle area, I mean, there's still a lot of people there doing business. I was in Ghana last summer, and I'm seeing, the markets there. And, you have Chinese people going there to do business, and a lot of the products for construction and manufacturing is all coming from here. And, the designs and in their, the materials, I know it came from here. Well, no, I see this in China too. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's right now it's a bad look for the country with the virus and this whole like how the local officials handle the quarantine of the area.
So what do you?
But I think one. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to. If you had to leave a parting word for the listeners, what would it be? Like, what do you want them to know about Guangzhou? Like, about the state of Guangzhou right now?
Well, the state of Guangzhou right now is, I guess a little like how it is in America. I mean, a lot of people are still like trying to recover, economically from the quarantine and trying to just go back to their normal lives. So I would think like, after this is over, businesses reopen, I think, it'll return back to how it was before. Hopefully, the relations between, the African countries and the local government officials here will be even stronger because there's more communication, there's more understanding, and there's a lot of students here that have been helping out with other people who have been quarantined, and they're from the same community, so
Okay.
they're helping their own fellow citizens, but they're also helping out the city too.
Okay, so you want us to know.
With race relations.
Okay, so you want to know there are locals who are doing their part in changing the negative connotations surrounded around the country and the city right now, and that's very interesting. That's good for everyone to know that it's not all hate, right? It's a lot of love involved as well. So, with that being said, brother man, I just want to thank you for being on the show and giving
All right.
your opinion, and we will definitely speak again soon. And you have a blessed day. Stay safe, and always. Is there any handles you want to let loose? Twitter, IG, Facebook.
Well, I go by the same name. I go by my artist name, William Mwazi, Mwazi. You can see some of my illustrations, or if you want to catch any of my political thoughts, my social justice feed, you can follow me on that. Twitter, Instagram.
Sounds good. I want to thank you, brother. Sounds good. We'll talk soon, man. You have a blessed evening.
All
Okay.
right, you too, man.
All right.
Be safe.
Right.
All right.
And that was Brother William, who is currently living in Guangzhou and had a lot of interesting things to say. I thought it was real interesting how he spoke on he feels more comfortable as a black man living in Guangzhou than he does in America. Think about that, people. We are fighting to keep injustice from happening in China. And here's a man who's living in China right now, a black man, that says he feels more comfortable in China with the injustice than he does living in America. And as a black man who once lived in China, I understand how he can say that. And unless you live in America, and I guarantee you there are a lot of black people in America who would say in China, who would say they are way more comfortable living in China than they are in America. So just to sum it all up, man, the solutions for the need and the problem, the problem is selfishness and fear and awareness. And the solution is that you have to communicate outside your box, take the time, experience some new cultures, don't let the illusion of fear overtake your thoughts and overtake your mind. But, we've done a lot of talking, and here on the BPRC, I don't really like to just always talk and like to take you on roller coaster rides. So here we are. We need to pick that up. Here's our pickup song, our summertime, our summer anthem. We just got to pick up the vibes a little bit. Here you go. This is summer.
Yeah.
BPRC.
Yeah.
Positivity.
Yeah, girl, we could meet on the weekend, yeah.
Be scared to love somebody. read them like gold.
Yeah, girl, we could meet on the weekend. Yeah. Try to share body, maybe it's Tally. The way she was going about it.
We are all one.
Yeah, I cannot trust these bitches. They're really some creatures. Try to she a thought, she a whole treasure. Yeah, stacking on my bread, I'm just trying to get to a brisha. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like, we needed that little pickup track. I like to kind of think outside the box a little bit. And, we went over the needs, the problems, and the solutions. But the main point that I need or would like you to leave with is that at the end of the day, you can't love someone else until you love yourself, right? So if we all just take a moment and figure out how to love the best of who we are, then everything will work out. And that's what I would like to leave you with, is that you can't really be successful. You have to like someone, right? You have to work. Here's the thing. The whole world is a big melting pot, right? So we're all going to be surrounded by others at some point or another. So it really does you no good and no justice to judge others based off their skin, their culture, how they are. Now, okay, so that's a serious note, but on a non-serious note, we all make jokes, right? So we all make jokes about each other's cultures, which is completely fine. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to business and all seriousness in serious situations, it definitely does us better to have love for one another and be positive. The energy you receive is the energy that you give out. So if you put positive vibes in the world, those vibes will come back to you, So don't spend your time, man. People, don't waste your time on being negative and being ugly. It's just, it only hurts you. It only deteriorates your soul. It only kills you faster. Don't be the person that kills themselves, live. Let's live. So that's my take on the topic today. We also have to do fresh new finds, and I think I'm going to go back to fresh new find from last week, not only because he's my brother, but because I like this song. This is God Stanley, Troop.
4 or 5 shots, I'm getting wasted. Bartender says it's cutting me off. Like, wait, what you mean? Next thing I feel a tap on my shoulder. Turn around, ooh, she's a fine dime. She looking pretty, oh my God. She like, hey boo.
Can I let this one play a little longer?
Like, yeah, baby mama, I can get you whatever you want. But first tell me, girl, you look this good if I was sober. You won't have an answer that. No, let's get bitch drunk on.
What's up with you? Shit, I just wanted to fuck with you. My only intention to get you to pay attention. Give you what you're missing in every single position. I'm what you want to get you
Stanley Truth. I like the vibe of that song. Let's go to listed. 10 things you probably do that block your creativity, since we was talking to an artist. Number 1, I'm not an expert in my creative field, so I don't feel ready to put myself out there. You will block your creativity by doing that. Number 2, I don't believe in myself as a creative person. Number 3, I feel like it's not the right time yet, but I'm not sure when it will be. Number 4, I'm afraid things won't work out. Number 5, I think about my past failures and they rule my thoughts. Number 6, I don't think I'm as talented as other people. Number 7, I am scared my friends and family will judge me in my work. Number 8, I feel like I will make mistakes if I start now. Number 9, I feel guilty when I do creative work because it's not productive. Number 10, I need to know all the answers now before I start. So those are the 10 things you probably do that block your creativity. This is coming from lifehack.com, which we are not scared to sponsor. So if you want to sponsor us, lifehack.com, you can sponsor our list. But basically what these top 10 things say to me is that this is a person who lacks confidence, right? So if you are blocking your creativity, it basically comes down to the lack of confidence. If you're saying any of these 10 things, then you're lacking confidence in an area that is blocking you from being who you are, from letting your inside creative mind come out. Let's be aware of that and make sure that we are allowing ourselves to be the truest form of ourselves in creativity, in spirit, in mind, in body, in health. With that being said, I'm going to leave and allow us to listen to a takeout song. But I must tell you that here's the quote before I go. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. It's a quote by Dale Carnegie. Again, I'll read it again. If you want to conquer fear, don't sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Thank you for listening to the BPRC podcast. Stay safe and healthy. Protect your loved ones. Until the next one, we are out. Peace. You can catch us on BPRC2020 Instagram. You can catch us on Twitter, on Facebook, BPRC, YouTube, Anchor. We are blessed in sharing. We all have the responsibility to pay it forward. Good night. Be blessed.